The Grand Council Chamber of the Galactic Federation stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian floor. Its vaulted ceiling displaying real-time holographic feeds from 1,000 worlds. Representatives from 47 species sat in their designated sections, their various forms of breathing apparatus hissing, clicking, and humming in the cavernous space. At the chamber's center, isolated on a platform surrounded by energy barriers, stood 2 humans. Captain Max Rivera and Lieutenant Anna Chen wore their dress uniforms, crisp and decorated with medals that meant nothing to the assembled aliens. They had been brought here in chains 3 days ago, though the restraints had been removed before the trial began. A gesture of civility, the Zactran ambassador had explained, though the plasma cannons trained on them from every angle suggested otherwise. Humans of Earth, the Supreme Arbiter's voice boomed through translation matrices. You stand accused of the unprovoked destruction of a Confederation mining fleet in the Outer Rim. 17 ships, 4,000 souls, gone in an instant of human savagery. Anaha's jaw tightened, but she remained silent. Max had made her promise to let him do the talking. She watched the Supreme Arbiter, a towering crystalline being, whose body refracted light into rainbow patterns with cold, analytical eyes. The evidence is irrefutable, continued the Arbiter. Explain your attack on Earth's behalf, or be prepared for your species to face annihilation protocols. Max took a single step forward. The plasma cannons wind, powering up. He stopped, raised his hands slowly, and spoke in a clear, steady voice. We didn't attack your fleet. A wave of discordant sounds rippled through the chamber, the alien equivalent of laughter, disbelief, and rage mixed together. The debris field tells a different story, hissed the Srothy representative, her serpentine hood flaring. Human weapon signatures, human targeting protocols. Your species' fingerprints are all over this massacre. Yes, Max agreed calmly. Our weapons were used, but not by us. The Supreme Arbiter leaned forward, its crystalline form pulsing with amber light. Explained. Max glanced at Anna. She gave an almost imperceptible nod and activated her wrist display. A holographic projection bloomed above them, showing star charts, trajectories, and encrypted data streams. 6 months ago, Max began, our colony on Kepler 44 to be went silent. 300,000 civilians. No distress call. No warning. When we arrived, we found nothing but ash and fused glass. The attackers had used weapons we'd never seen before, weapons that left no trace. This is irrelevant too, the Zactran ambassador started. It's entirely relevant, Anna cut in, her voice sharp as a blade. Because 2 months later, it happened again. New Mumbai Station. Then the agricultural worlds of Tau Ceti. Then the research outpost at Ross 128. Each time, millions dead. Each time, no trace of the attackers. The chamber had grown quieter. Max continued. We did what any species would do. We investigated. We tracked energy signatures. We analyzed attack patterns. And we discovered something that should terrify every species in this chamber. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. You've been infiltrated. The chamber erupted. Dozens of species shouting simultaneously through their translators created a cacophony that the system struggled to process. The Supreme Arbiter's form flashed red, and silence fell like a hammer blow. Elaborate, the Arbiter commanded. Anna took over, her fingers dancing across her display. The Vrin, a parasite species that you drove to near extinction 800 years ago. They survived. They evolved, and they've been hiding among you ever since. New holograms appeared, microscopic imagery of a writhing, semi-transparent organism. They're shapeshifters at the cellular level. They infiltrate host bodies, replace neural pathways, and perfectly mimic the host's behavior. They can remain dormant for decades, and they've been systematically positioning themselves in positions of power across the Confederation. Preposterous, spat the Zactran ambassador. The Varin are extinct. This is human deception, is it? Max's voice cut through like ice. Then explain how a human fleet attacked your mining operation using ships that were reported destroyed in a training accident 3 years ago. Explain how those ships transmitted authentication codes that only 6 people in our entire military had access to, 4 of whom are dead, and 2 of whom are standing right here. The frothy representatives who'd had deflated. Her voice came out as a whisper. The Vrin. They could be anywhere, anyone. They are anywhere, Anna said flatly. We've identified at least 47 infiltrators in key positions across Confederation space, including she locked eyes with the Zactran ambassador, 17 in the Zactran military command structure. The ambassador's face went through several colors. You have proof. We have everything, Max said. Neural scan archives, communication intercepts, DNA analysis showing VIN markers. We've been hunting them for 6 months. The attack on your fleet, that was us destroying Vrin-controlled ships that were planning to attack your homeworld and frame Earth for genocide. The silence that followed was absolute. Why not bring this information to us directly? The Supreme Arbiter finally asked. Max's laugh was bitter. We tried 3 times. Each time, our ambassadors were turned away or mysteriously assassinated before they could speak to anyone with authority. The Vrin have made sure you see us as the threat while they prepare for something much worse. Anak pulled up a final hologram, a massive fleet, hidden in the dark space between stars. This is what we found yesterday. 2,000 Vin ships using stolen technology from every species in this chamber. They're planning a simultaneous strike on every Confederation capital world. They want to collapse your civilization from within and rise from the ashes. The Supreme Arbiter's form had gone completely white, the crystalline equivalent of shock. When, 72 hours, Max said. That's why we let ourselves be captured. That's why we're here. You can execute us, or you can listen. But humanity isn't your enemy. We never were. For a long moment, nothing moved in the vast chamber. Then the Supreme Arbiter rose to its full height, towering 6 meters tall. Release them, it commanded, and someone get me a direct line to every fleet commander in Confederation space. If the humans are correct, we have very little time. As the energy barriers flickered and died, Anna leaned close to Max and whispered, "Think they'll actually work with us?" Max watched as alien diplomats erupted into frantic communication, as military officers shouted orders, as the slow machinery of the Confederation began to turn toward a common enemy. They don't have a choice, he replied. And neither do we. Not anymore. The chamber descended into organized chaos, but at its center, 2 humans stood calm and ready. Because humanity had learned long ago that survival meant fighting not just for yourself, but for those too proud to ask for help. And sometimes, that meant saving those who wanted to destroy you.